in perhaps the most cowardly of acts, Chris Bowen told us before the election that he would not sign Australia up to a international pact on methane gas emissions. This would effectively mean that you would have to cull the herd in order to stop the amount of burping and farting, or you just do what they did in New Zealand and you tax it. Now, apparently the suggestion here is that it can all be fixed by feeding everyone seaweed, but let's explain to people how farms work later. Exact words said a couple of weeks before the election. I'm not going to sign up to a pledge which I don't know how will be implemented in Australia without getting further advice. So now the election's behind them, they're riding high in the polls, any broken promise will be forgiven by the media, but yet again, regional Australia cops it in the neck.
Australia's got to ask itself, do you think groceries are too cheap at the moment and we want to pay a bit more money out?
Effectively will put an end to barbecues, because this is going to drive the cost of your food, your meat, up.
I mean, seriously, a T-bone tax? Are we going to tax people because they exist, not because they're making a profit?
Now, I want to get more detail on this. Bridget McKenzie is, of course, part of the front bench. She is a lady who is passionate about the bush. She is, of course, a national senator. Let's put her on the telly right now. Bridge, this was one of those things they were always going to do, but didn't want to tell anyone, just like the EPA they announced the day before the election. But there is some serious realities here that will not be fixed by seaweed from Tasmania.
Paul, thank you so much for highlighting on your program just what a vendetta this Albanese Labor government has against rural and regional Australia. I'm up here in the fabulous regional capital of Mackay tonight. I've been through central Queensland the last few days. I've seen coal trucks heading to the Port of Gladstone, minute by minute, making sure we can have a universal healthcare system, making sure we can have great public education system. It's on the stuff we do out here in our mining and resources industry and in our agriculture industry that pays for this stuff. And once again, the Labor Party, whether it's water policy, whether it's the upcoming budget, where the only programs that they've said they're going to strip are the ones that meet our social and economic outcomes. And now, today, to see another election promise breach by this terrible government for the region, saying they're going to sign up to the methane pledge, which effectively means there's only two ways you get there. One, you tax farmers, which is what Jacinta Ardern is obviously doing in New Zealand, or farmers are going to have to make the decision to decrease their herd stocking rates and our herd numbers here, which means this $33 billion industry that employs over 500,000 Australians is actually have to go through a depressive and a recessive sort of cycle, which is not what we want. And it just shows, I guess, what Anthony Albanese, Murray Watt, the Agriculture Minister, Jim Chalmers really thinks about the 9 million of us who don't live in capital cities.
Well, Murray Watt is the Agriculture Minister. By the way, doesn't live in regional Australia, lives in Brisbane, is a senator and a party hack from Queensland. He's all about the party. He's not about anything to do with the actual regions. But here he is telling us that, no, this is fine. We can sign up to this stuff. There's no problem. There's no transition coming for agriculture. Have a look at this.
People want to get on with it, and farmers want to get on with it. I've said before, every farm I've been on to since I've been the minister, one of the very first things that gets raised with me is what more we can be doing around climate and sustainability. The industry is so far ahead of the National Party, it's not funny.
Geez, you must visit different farms than you and I do.
Totally, Murray. I mean, my phone's been ringing off the hook. I've been speaking to livestock producers. Most of our states today shocked that the Labor Party has made this announcement. It wasn't flagged prior to the election. They're not consulted. They don't know how this is going to happen at the farm gate. And, the Minister, Murray Watt, makes, farmers care about the environment. Of course they do. They want to hand their farm on to the next generation of Australian farmers in better nick than when they got it. So they're the first environmental conservationists long before ideology was weaponised by the left. So I find it quite offensive that he tries to couch this, but farmers really want to do the right thing by the environment. Therefore, they want a methane pledge and a tax. That is not what farmers are saying. They want to do the right thing by the environment. But we know that this pledge will result in either a tax or a reduction of herd numbers, all of which will result in higher prices being paid at Australian checkouts for our fabulous beef.
Good on you, Bridge. We'll keep talking. I think we've got a long fight in this one, but I reckon we can win it. Thank you very much.